Hey, what's up guys? And today we're talking about the games which tap into the awesome power of the Xbox Series X to deliver that fabled 4K 60 experience, combining the pristine resolution of a 4K display with the silky flow of a 60 frames per second game. So here's 25 of our Xbox Series X favorites.
You've skipped across the rooftops of Jerusalem, stabbed your way through Renaissance Italy, rescued George Washington, and sailed the mighty seas as a no-good pirate. So, what next? Valhalla is what's next. Playing as the leader of a Viking clan, you'll spearhead the invasion of Europe using a combination of stealth and brute force to lay claim to it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the biggest, boldest, and easily the best-looking entry in Ubisoft's acclaimed open-world series.
If you took the most insane scenes from Mad Max Fury Road, rendered them in a punkish cel-shaded art style, and added even more firepower, you'd have something approaching Borderlands 3. This shoot and loot spectacular gives you more ways to blow your enemies to pieces than ever before, and it does it with that patented pitch black sense of humor, which makes the moments between the gunshots just as fun.
Black Ops Cold War whisks us back to the era of bad hair and great music for a thrilling Reagan-era campaign filled with deception, betrayal, and explosive action. Then you can take your old-school arsenal online to compete in the game's truly awesome range of multiplayer modes. Dive into the squad-based strategies of fire teams, enjoy the vehicular carnage of combined arms, or put the undead back in their graves in the always brilliant Zombies mode.
There are no shortage of Battle Royale games around these days, but if you absolutely need to get blasting right this second, Cuisine Royale is the answer. Here, players spawn randomly anywhere on the map the moment matchmaking is done, so you can get straight to business. It also brings its own unique style of humor to the genre, allowing you to arm yourself with little more than a frying pan if that's how you roll.
Few games let you beat up on your enemies with as much style as the Devil May Cry series, and the 5th game's special edition is the most beautifully brutal yet. Using a wide arsenal of demonic armaments, the aim is to carve up the forces of hell with as much panache as possible. Dante returns in his iconic red coat, as does Nero, and the two slayers are joined by a demon summoning fella named V in this absolute banger of a 4K 60 Xbox game.
Perfect timing.
Want to see how you might have fared in the thick of World War II? Enlisted lets you jump into the boots of an infantry squad leader, tank commander, or aircraft pilot to test yourself in the fires of MMO combat. Both a shooter and a strategy game, history buffs in particular will be in for a treat, as every weapon, uniform, and vehicle has been recreated with painstaking accuracy.
Fans of Pixar's Soul can go on their own adorable afterlife adventure with Evergate, a 2D puzzle platformer on Xbox Series X, which sees you guiding a spirit named Key through the great beyond using the power of the Soul Flame. Thanks to some lovely Ori-esque visuals and a gorgeous orchestral soundtrack, it's one of the most atmospheric games around. Taking on the big themes of life and death, it's also surprisingly deep.
One of the most popular games of all time, Fortnite is the king of battle royales, and it's constantly finding new ways to keep things fresh and retain its position at the top of the food chain. Ramping up the resolution and frame rate might not be quite as exciting as adding Deadpool or Lara Croft into the mix, but it sure does make the game look and feel amazing on the Series X.
What with the dead eyes and the rows of razor-sharp teeth, sharks aren't exactly the easiest members of the animal kingdom to sympathise with, but Maneater does its best to win you over. Playing as a baby shark, no, we're not gonna sing the song, you're left disfigured and alone when a hunter named Scaly Pete attacks your family. Your only choice is to munch your way to the top of the food chain and seek revenge, which looks even better as the game has those amazing Xbox Series X optimizations.
Fans of mind-bending movies like Inception will love Manifold Garden, a first-person puzzle game where the basic laws of physics are always up for debate. It's like a game set inside an Assyrian staircase where falling off the bottom can leave you back at the top. By manipulating gravity, you can turn floors into walls and generally flip things around until you solve the puzzle. It might break your brain, but it looks fantastic and you're sure to have fun while it does.
Legendary Blade Runner actor Rutger Hauer stars in Observer System Redux, a first-person psychological horror which has you hacking into people's brains using a device called the Dream Eater. Between that and the protagonist's augmented vision, he makes a pretty mean detective who can shed light on even the strangest cases. But when he finally uncovers the truth behind his own son's disappearance, he might wish that he'd remained in the dark.
War Thunder lets you battle over land, sea, and sky in a host of realistic vehicles drawn from across history. Whether you fancy rolling around in a tank from the Second World War or screeching through the skies in a modern-day fighter jet, the choice is yours. The game modes are plentiful too, with a single-player campaign that lets you take part in key historic battles and a wide range of multiplayer options to choose from.
Some good news for Xbox Game Pass subscribers now, as all the next games are currently available on the library, so subscribers won't have to pay another penny to enjoy that glorious 4K 60 on their Xbox Series X consoles.
Gaming often takes a bigger is better approach by letting you conquer entire worlds or level whole city blocks. But Grounded shows that sometimes less is more. Shrinking you down to the size of an insect, a back garden now seems like a sprawling jungle full of towering grass blades and terrifying creatures to avoid. You'll have to brave the wilderness and use what you find to craft some supplies if you want to survive in this bug-eat-you world.
Next, we've got a trio of gorgeous racing games, starting with Forza Horizon 4. This one will strike a chord with British gamers in particular, as its open world is basically a gorgeous yet condensed version of the UK. Locations based on Edinburgh, the Lake District, the Cotswolds, and more make it ideal for taking a cross-country drive without leaving your street. And with over 700 licensed cars to ride in, you'll be able to do it in real style.
Then there's a game which uses the Series X's extreme horsepower to give you the most beautifully rendered mud of all time, Dirt 5. This rally racing series is all about the more rough and ready side of driving, taking you out into the wilds in all kinds of weather to splash your way to victory. Featuring everything from ice racing to super trucks, it's ideal for racing fans who want to take the road less traveled.
The third racer in our 4K 60 collection puts the car in carnage, with races that are often less about making it to the finish line first and more about making it there at all. Whether you're in a race car, school bus, or on a lawnmower, you'll need to keep one eye on your rear view at all times if you want to avoid being consigned to the scrap heap before the race is over.
Ark Survival Evolved is like Jurassic Park meets Lord of the Flies. You're abandoned on an island full of dinosaurs and left to fend for yourself, forming tribes, crafting makeshift weapons, and learning to tame the creatures to keep yourself safe. Either take on the solo campaign or jump online to see how long you and your friends can get along in harmony before you start bashing each other's heads in over what to name your new Velociraptor.
Soaring through the air in the Falconeer presents one of the most serene experiences to be found on an Xbox Series X, allowing you to take in the beauty of its world. Of course, there are also many battles to be fought, bounties to be fulfilled, and missions to be completed. But don't be surprised if you end up spending a lot of time just drifting through the game's gorgeous skies on the back of your majestic Falcon.
From one vast blue realm to another, Sea of Thieves is celebrating its 3rd birthday and takes you out onto the water to make your name as a notorious pirate. On the best looking high seas in any game we know, you'll find an endless array of seaborne quests to undertake, secrets to uncover, and spoils to be won. And since this is a shared world adventure game, you'll also encounter countless other scurvy sea dogs along the way. Plus the occasional megalodon, kraken, and ghost ships. So either form a truce or start loading up the cannons.
Given that Tetris is one of the oldest and most visually simplistic games ever created, it might seem like an unusual candidate for a 4K 60 makeover, but Tetris Effect Connected takes the basic game, lining up blocks before the screen fills up, and wraps it in a symphonic journey from the depths of the sea to the far reaches of the cosmos to create an oddly therapeutic gaming experience. Trust me.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps is quite simply one of the most beautiful games on Xbox. Whether you're guiding the titular white spirit across a frozen mountain range or through the dark, dense undergrowth of a gloomy forest, every one of the game's levels feels like a children's storybook that has sprung into motion. And beneath its enchanting surface, it's also a finely tuned platformer which rewards fast reflexes and careful exploration.
In a stark contrast to Ori, this next one is more like a slasher movie come to life. Dead by Daylight is a 4 vs 1 multiplayer game where a vicious killer stalks a group of desperate survivors.
Hey, what's up, guys?
In true horror movie fashion, the player controlling the big bad is slower moving and more cumbersome than his prey, giving the other side at least a fighting chance of making their escape. We played it on our Twitch channel recently, and honestly, I think we may need to have a word with Charley.
Oh, I found you! I went in there for an axe and I found a Steve!
Set in a beautiful, blocky island paradise, The Tourist is theoretically about a holidaymaker who suspects that something funny is going on and sets off on a quest to uncover the truth. But it's really more about taking time to just relax and enjoy your surroundings, hopping between the various islands, getting to know the different quirks of each community, and taking on whatever tasks you feel like doing.
We'll finish off with 2 titles from a series that sits in the highest rung of the Xbox pantheon, Gears of War. Gears 5 tells another chapter in the epic battle against the Locust, following Kate as she tries to figure out the truth behind her connection to their scratchy-throated foes. On the Series X especially, it brings an all-new level of visual splendor to this unbelievably slick third-person shooter series.
But if you like to ruminate a little more before you start chainsaw bayoneting fools in half, Tactics offers an entry point into the Gears world that is a little more contemplative. Here, the battle between the Cog and the Locust is converted into a turn-based strategy game where you command a full unit of muscled super soldiers. While not exactly relaxing, it makes for a nice change of speed from the intense firefights of the main series.
That's our list of 25 4K 60 Xbox games that are available right now, but expect plenty more to be added to it before too long. Thanks so much for watching. Let us know in the comments which ones you're most excited to play, and feel free to leave us a like before you go. Bye!